Welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops. You know who it is. It's your boy, Nikki P. And as always, thank y'all for tuning in with me, constantly checking these videos out, man. I'm glad y'all rocking with the content, man. Keep rocking with me. I'm going to keep turning them out and, got some surprises for y'all in the future, man. So stay tuned. And this is, I don't even know what video number this is, but who cares? Let's get to it, man. Y'all saw the thumbnail. We about to dive into the reasoning behind the NBA viewership on the constant decline in recent days. The NBA has long been regarded as the pinnacle of basketball excellence, showcasing incredible athleticism, skill, and competition. However, in recent years, a troubling trend has emerged, a consistent decline in NBA viewership. This is not just about fluctuating numbers or changing entertainment habits. It's about the fundamental product the league is putting on the floor. Today, I want to dive into the real reasons behind this decline and why so many fans feel disconnected from the modern NBA today. One of the core issues plaguing the NBA today is overall dilution of talent and skill level and basketball IQ and displaying a complete game on the floor. While the league boasts incredible athletes, many players lack the complete skill sets that define past generations. In earlier eras, to be considered great, you had to master multiple facets of the game and just had to be able to dominate from anywhere on the court throughout the entirety of the game if you truly were a great player. Players prided themselves on developing a mid-range, getting to the rack, post moves, being able to hit from three, but especially the mid-range and being able to break a defender down and pull up from anywhere on the court and knock shots down. Post moves, passing, and crucially, defense. Players used to actually compete on the defensive end, man. You only see a few of those guys out there today. Today, the emphasis has shifted toward one-dimensional play styles with an overwhelming focus on three-point shooting to the detriment of the league. This obsession with the three-point line has created a homogeneous style of play where essentially players are handcuffing themselves behind the three, taking horrible step-back threes when they already had got the defender in the air and could just pull up one or two dribbles for an easy, wide-open mid-range jumper. It's terrible. It's terrible teaching and terrible learning. As a result, the game has lost the layer of nuance and creativity that once made it so compelling. Secondly, defense. Once a cornerstone of basketball, has become an afterthought in the modern NBA. Players and teams often prioritize offensive output over defensive effort, leading to inflated scoring numbers that mask the true quality of the game. With minimal paint protection, half-hearted closeouts, and a general lack of resistance and a general lack of care, players don't mind getting the rebound out the net and just taking it out and going to play offense instead of actually trying to keep the ball from going in the net. Players can score with ease, given the illusion of great offensive talent or greater offensive talent than what they actually display when you watch them play. This decline in defensive intensity has also contributed to a lack of competitive balance. Games often feel more like exhibitions than battles, with little sense of urgency or grit. I mean, I'm sure some of y'all remember times when, Kobe and AI were having battles when Lakers would be playing the Sixers throughout the years, when they was both in two top dogs, you know what I mean? And they was battling in the regular season like they did in the playoff, like they did in the finals. It's like the same intensity and the same desire and effort to win was there, regardless of what time of season it was. Physical aspects of basketball are left wanting as the game increasingly resembles a glorified pickup match. The modern NBA is a stats-driven league, but numbers can often be misleading. Inflated scoring averages due to lack of defense or lack of effort, and gaudy triple-doubles dominate headlines, yet they don't always reflect the true greatness that's being displayed out there. It's become easier than ever for players to rack up impressive stats in a league where defense is lax and pace is at an all-time high, and there's no bigs really that play like bigs outside of Jokic and Embiid in the league. That's why Jokic is tearing these little skinny dudes up. This reliance on stats has also distorted players' evaluations. Casual fans who may not watch full games are often swayed by box scores rather than the actual quality of play. People are so, many people that don't truly know the game like that, the first thing they'll start spewing out is some stat as opposed to, say, a player's actual game and the holes and the strengths and the weaknesses and the flaws and all of that without even having to look up stats first. True greatness can only be assessed by watching how players perform in critical moments, their ability to impact both ends of the floor, and their commitment to winning above all else. Next up, another contributor to this decline in the NBA is flopping. Flopping in the NBA has reached an epidemic level, man. It's probably at an all-time high, rivaling even the most theatrical moments in soccer. Players routinely exaggerate contact, throwing themselves to the ground in hopes of drawing fouls, or the offensive player flailing and not even looking to attempt to get a bucket on his drive to the basket and just looking to try to make contact to bait a ref. It's ridiculous. This not only disrupts the flow of the game, but also undermines its integrity. Even worse, the officiating often rewards these antics, further encouraging players to prioritize deception over genuine competition and genuine skill. Fans are frustrated by the inconsistency and poor quality of officiating, which has become a major detractor from the viewing experience. Great defensive plays are penalized while blatant flops are rewarded, creating a skewed and unsatisfying spectacle. The rise of social media and new media outlets such as podcasts has fundamentally changed how fans engage with the NBA. While these platforms offer unique insights, they've also contributed to overexposure and a shift in focus away from the game themselves. Highlights and hot takes dominate the discourse, leaving little room for in-depth analysis or appreciation of the sport's finer points. Furthermore, the constant barrage of opinions and narratives often overshadow the games. Players are scrutinized and criticized in ways that can feel performative and sensationalized, detracting from the purity of the sport. At its core, the NBA decline in viewership stems from a departure from the principles that once defined the league, and the standards that used to need to be upheld to be considered great and to be able to, put that jersey on every night. It's not just coincidence that early 2000s era is considered by many the best era of basketball of all time. You had a whole bunch of young cats coming up on their way into the league in that era that had just seen the greatest of all time and MJ play out the majority of his career, especially the majority of his prime, and see the prime epitome of what ultimate greatness is and what it means to truly be the best in the game. And you had a whole bunch of hungry dogs trying to reach that, from the Kobe's to the AIs that's why you had so many great players all in their prime in that era at the same time, with the T-Macs, the Vince Carters, the Ray Allens, the Shaqs, the Tim Duncans, the KGs, and the list goes on and on. Even some of the second-tier players that just, in their prime, their talent was through the roof, and they'd be arguably best players in the league in this type of era nowadays. And players like prime Baron Davis, or prime Steve Francis, and there's so many of them because they saw that example, and that was the pinnacle, and that's what you were supposed to strive for. And then over time, it looks like that kind of veered off track quite a bit. And now we're here at this game today with a lot of players that, the top 10 best players in the league don't even have complete games. But yeah, that's a big part of the detraction from the viewership. Today, the league has shifted towards promoting scoring at all costs, believing that higher point totals equate to greater entertainment value. This approach, however, has backfired. Fans want to see genuine competition, not artificially inflated numbers or a lackluster commitment to defense. The integrity of the game must come first and foremost before anything, with everything else to follow naturally, business-wise and elsewhere. To restore the NBA to its former glory, several changes need to be made. The league and its teams must prioritize well-rounded skill sets over one-dimensional play styles, and just chunking threes as, your first priority, win, lose, or draw. Players should be challenged to excel in all areas of the game, including defense and the mid-range. The league must incentivize defensive efforts and intensity, ensuring that players take pride in stopping their opponents as much as scoring themselves. Officiating must become more consistent and fair, and with harsher penalties for flopping and greater recognition of legitimate defensive plays. The NBA should prioritize competitive balance and organic rivalries over superficial entertainment metrics. Fans are drawn to authenticity, not gimmicks. And the players need to take that upon themselves too. If you're supposed to be a top dog like that and you're playing against another top dog and y'all the same position, y'all supposed to guard each other, close to it. Y'all supposed to, okay, let's get it. Lock and load. I'm going to guard you. You guard me. Let's see how it goes. Players shouldn't be running from the smoke out there trying to run around millions of screens and go press the easy mode button. So a return to the physicality and intensity of the early 2000s, where you were past the era of fighting all the time like the 80s, but the game was still physical. You could still play defense and players still locked up out there, and you had to work hard for them buckets, a lot harder than you do now. They could reignite the passion, and that forced you to become great and to, that type of thing. Because it was that hard, it forced you to become great if you wanted to be that player that could dominate and score at will and take over at will. It forced you to develop a complete game. Now you don't really have to develop a complete game to drop 30. But hopefully that would come back, and that would, increase the talent level of the cream of the crop players in the league, while introducing new audiences to the beauty of hard-fought basketball and hard-fought battles, and what eventually will become known as epic rivalries against certain players. The NBA's current trajectory is unsustainable, but the league has the power to course correct for sure. By staying true to the integrity of the game, fostering genuine competition, and prioritizing well-rounded player development, the NBA can recapture the magic that once made it the most captivating league in the world. Fans deserve better, and the game itself deserves better. The time to act is now, before the NBA decline becomes irreversible. Let us hope that the league listens to its fans, its critics, and its history, and works to restore basketball to the rightful place as a sport defined by excellence, passion, and integrity. Once again, this is your boy, Nikki P. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, man. Weigh in. Share with your friends, all that good stuff. I appreciate y'all tapping in, and I'll be back with another one soon. It's eat, sleep, breathe, hoops, and until the next one, peace.